So let me ask you a question. You've actually firsthand experienced the progression over the years, from the 40s to the 50s, to the civil rights of the 60s, to the free love of the 70s, to the 80s, 90s, all the way. We're getting up to the 20s. What has really changed, and what is pretty much the same from your point of view in 2019?
Well, integration, what has changed, integration to a certain extent brought more freedoms in terms of access to certain things, whether it's banks or restaurants or other social events or whatever. But there was never an economic integration. It was a social integration.
Okay.
So we were not integrated economically. So on the surface, things looked better, and there were more opportunities. But what we were promised by Lincoln was after slavery, we were going to get 40 acres and a mule. And it's 2019, and I don't have a mule or my 20 acres.
40 acres.
40 acres. I don't have my 40 acres. I don't have a mule. So that has not changed. I still want what I was promised, my 40 acres and a mule. And he promised that not because he was just being generous, but because he knew what we went through in slavery. And that was his apology for our slave genocide. But it was never delivered. So what certain things have changed in terms of, but now today, what is a little scary is the division that we're facing in terms of what's happening in this country right now. I mean, we're divided than we've been in I don't know how long.
So you, from your perspective, absolutely see the divide as a regression into how things used to be.
I think it's a regression because we're back to not judging each other based upon our humanity, but on the color of our skin or our gender. And you cannot tell anything about a human being by just how they appear. We have more in common than we do have difference. You and I are both going to die. And you can't tell me when you're going to die. I can't tell you when I'm going to die.
Mm-hmm.
If we get cut, your blood is not blue. It's red like mine.
Mm-hmm.
We both have our challenges on a daily basis that we have to deal with. And most of the challenges don't care what color you are. You try not paying your mortgage or your rent and tell your landlord that you're white and see what happens.
Right.
I'm just saying, what the landlord cares about is the green, right?
Exactly.
So I'm saying is that the ignorance of each other, the displacement of our common humanity today is a little disturbing. And there are some people who are fighting against it and reminding people of our commonality, but for some reason, on both sides there is a divide.
Well, you yourself never got married. And you've never had children of your own.
I'm a goddaughter, Natalie.
You have a goddaughter, but you yourself have never actually had biological children, and you feel there's a reason for that. And you talked about that in the book.
I think because of my selfishness, commitment to my career, etc., to being in ongoing situations where in many relationships I was in, and it's not totally their fault. People were with me because of what they thought they could leverage in terms of, because many women I've seen have been in the business, etc. So,
Mm-hmm.
and that has always been difficult. I could tell you stories about that. I think the struggle for survival, particularly in the early years, I did not. I knew my mother and father would have killed me, if I had a child and couldn't take care of it.
Yeah.
It's not about having children, but it's about fathering and mothering and providing.
Yeah.
And if you're in my business,
It's challenging.
you're on a roller coaster. Someday,
Yeah.
hey, it's up here, and then next,
It's up and down. It's not a 9 to 5.
it's not.
Not a 9 to. It's the opposite of a
It's
9 to 5.
not a 9 to 5, and I was always told from a young boy that a man has certain responsibilities. It's not just about having babies. Do you take care of them, and do you provide for them, and do you father them? And so I've gone up and down, over and under with that.
Well, in the book, you also talked about the colorism aspect of why you think you didn't have children.
Yeah, in the early days, based upon how I was treated because I was dark complected, I did not want to have a child that went through the same thing I went through.
So because of that, you didn't want to have children with
Yeah.
with another dark-skinned woman.
Yeah, or with any woman because, dark skin particularly because I feared for my children if that happened because of what I'd gone through. But being black in America when I grew up was always, I don't know, it's like, Kanye West, he's a very controversial person.
Yeah.
But he has sometimes been a great lyricist.
Well, absolutely.
And I've never forgotten one of his lyrics. And I don't know if it's in School Days, I forgot which album it's in, but he said, "Oh, my people, for that dollar, how low we'll stoop.
Yeah.
But when you're riding in your Benz, you're still a nigga in a coupe."
All falls down.
All falls down.
Well, we had interviewed a rapper from Florida named Glock 9, a very dark-skinned young man. And he said something somewhat similar to what you said. Let me go ahead and play it for you.
Ain't gonna lie, I know I'm ugly too.
You think you're ugly?
Little piece, little piece. I still get hoed. Tripping. I still be on my fly man shit though.
Well, money makes you handsome.
Yeah,
And fame makes you handsome too.
I know. That's why they be talking about he ugly, but I still, yeah, I already know. But I ain't fuck these hoes. I got a wife.
Yeah?
Yeah,
You wifed up.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know though, man. Are you in? Remember there was the whole Kodak thing about how he prefers light skin girls? Because
I broke up with
he was saying how light skin girls are easier
Yeah.
to control, I guess. Something like that. Are you on that?
I ain't gonna lie. What he say? I'm already black. I don't need no black bitch.
Right, that's what he said.
So yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I can't have no cut. Like, I know if I'm fucking with you, I'm black as fuck, right? I'm black as shit.
Yeah, black is beautiful though, man.
So I know if I fuck with a black bitch, we gonna have a black ass baby.
So?
I ain't with that.
Why?
'Cause I'm already black as fuck.
So?
I can't. No.
Well, I mean, this is an interesting thing. You know what I mean? Like, so if you have a baby, you don't want your baby to be the same complexion as you? Why?
This a once in a lifetime thing.
What do you mean?
Like, this a dark ass shade. They be hell nah. I can't have.
Is your mom same shade as you?
Nah.
She's
Hell
not.
nah. My mom like caramel mocha.
Okay, so your dad is darker.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nah, that's oh boy. You talking about I'm black? You see that boy?
So your dad is actually darker.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Has your mom ever said that she doesn't want her grandkids to be?
Nah.
Okay. Because I remember I interviewed Amara La Negra.
Uh.
You know who that is? She's on Love and Hip Hop. I'm gonna show you.
Oh, you talking about the little she had the afro?
Yeah, her.
Yeah, I know you talking about.
I interviewed her.
It's sad, but it's the truth. I've heard it many, many times. And we are treated differently. A lot of Latinos don't want my kind mixed into their family because they didn't want to better the race. And better the race means more European features.
That sound like some clown shit. Ain't gonna lie, that sound like some clown.
That's some clown shit. Straight up.
It's real, huh?
Yeah, I mean, you as a white person, who's been around the black community the majority of my life, you've heard people say things like that, but you've never actually had a conversation with someone saying that to you, matter-of-factly, unapologetically. This is how I feel, and I stand behind it.
It's in my film Dark Girls, there was this young man, light-skinned young man, and we asked him, would he ever date a dark-skinned woman? He said, never.
Never.
And we asked him why. He said, they don't look right on my arm. They don't look right with me. And it's, for me, a lot of it had been how I was treated. I didn't want somebody I loved to be treated the same way. And in a way, it's an act of pain, but also an act of cowardice to a certain extent. But this issue is still, unfortunately, relevant in 2019.
This is a young man who is, 18 years old maybe?
And does that tell you
This
something?
is the next generation that we're looking at right here.
Do you know what the one of the number one selling cosmetics is in the world right now?
Is it like whitening?
Skin bleach.
Skin bleach, yeah.
In my Light Girls documentary, we interviewed some people in Japan, and these ladies were walking with umbrellas, and we asked them why, and with the sun, and they said that they're protecting themselves from the sun because they didn't want to get darker because it reduced their status in their community.
Oh, that's why Asian women walk with umbrellas? I just saw one today. Oh, wow. I never saw that. I never realized that was the aspect of it. I just thought it was a sunburn or something. Oh, wow. Okay.
Same thing in India.
Yeah, I'd heard about that, the caste system out there. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you could sit back and say that around the world, darker skinned people get treated worse than lighter skinned people. You could just sum it up with that statement right there. And it's so fucked up when you say it out loud that you're saying this in 2019 and it's not going to change in 2020.
Well, it's unfortunate, but there's a two-sided issue to it because there are a lot of lighter complected people who don't feel they're superior and they're good people, but they get treated with certain judgments. When I did the Light Girls documentary, we interviewed this young light-skinned girl, and she said that when she was in elementary school, the dark-skinned girls used to, when she went to the bathroom, would attack her, put her on the floor, and pull her hair out by the roots. And they would curse at her and say, bitch, you think because you got good hair, you're better than us. And she'd be bleeding from her scalp. She'd be bleeding from the scalp.
I absolutely hate the term good hair.
I'm just...
I just absolutely hate that term because it implies there's a bad hair that is not like that hair, which to me sets up a level of insecurity that I don't think anyone should go through, honestly.
Cecily Tyson got into a lot of trouble when she was on the album cover of Miles Davis, and she wear her hair naturally. People said she shamed the race. She was ugly because she didn't have a wig.
Hmm.
I think it was Cicely Tyson on, yeah.
It was a Miles Davis album cover.
Nina Simone got a lot of flack too because she wore herself naturally a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Fucked up world we live in. And, you know, it's unfortunate that, you know, since the 40s, you still have this conversation.